So I'm going to, give me a noun. What's the thing we're making an app for?
Laundry.
Laundry, love it. So we're gonna call this laundromat. And I'm going to make a front end. And I'm gonna make a, let Rails make the back end. I'll say Rails new API backend. Okay, so I got a front end and a back end. And oh snap, you guys want to see this with testing? Say yes.
Sure.
So, all right. And then I'm going to install Cypress. So Cypress is a testing framework. It works on any browser app. It doesn't care whether you used a front-end framework or a back-end framework or anything. Automate the browsers. Cool. And then if I do Cypress, npx Cypress open. Cool, so then I get all that shit. I don't actually want any of it. And then I'm going to delete all the examples, and I'm going to make one that we'll just use for all these. Awesome. So I'm going to start up some servers.
Take care, Karen. Thank you so much.
And so let's look at like how we might test drive some of this. So there's my spec. It says, oh, you don't have any actual tests in your spec. That's fixable. So I'm describing so this has like showing shirts. And I will know that we can show shirts correctly when it lists 3 shirts. And I'll know it can do that if I can visit localhost 3000, and then if I get data test shirts, if I get any LIs in there, should, actually, let me do it like this. No, like that. Should have length of 3. Cool, so that's my first test, is listing 3 shirts. And if I go over here, it goes, hey, I don't have anything running on port 3000. Indeed, I don't. So if I go over to the front end and try to light server this non-existent app. I get that. If I go into that folder and make an index.html and an index.js. Cool. Rails S that. Rails S. I'm going to put this one on port 6000. All right, cool. Now, I go to localhost 3000. All right, error goes away. So that means this error should go away. Indeed, tries to load up the page and it's trying to get 3 shirts, doesn't find 3 shirts. That's cool. So how's about I go over to that index.html file and try to get it to pass. And I'm going to put a script up here. And defer it. And it needs a character set. And laundromat. So we'll call that our UL for shirts. And I can just put any rando 3 LIs in here, and that should make that pass. And it does. We got a green test. Awesome. So the idea in like test-driven development is that we do something like this. We get to like pass with some bullshit first, and then we gradually make it more real. But the principle here is that it's easier to keep something working than it is to get something working. So, all right, we've got it kind of working. So now we just make that gradually more real. Oops, I called it index.js, that's fine. So over here, I can fake that out also. I can say something like shirts is something like that, and then just make 3 fake shirts. Okay, so I have those shirts, and maybe I want to go through each one of them and make them each show up on the page. So I make an LI that is document.create element LI, and then I make that LI's inner HTML something like shirt.color, and then I want the shirts. So I'm going to select that and select shirts. I need to give that a class. Okay, I've got my shirts, and Now I just need to append that li to each one. Now if I do that, I can take out these hard-coded ones and see if my test still passes. By Jove, it does. And look, I got them showing up on the page. Hey! So now, like, it's one level more real. Now it just needs to get these from some computer that isn't my computer. So instead of hard coding these shirts here, I want to get them back from my API. Okay, cool. So make over in the back end, I'm going to Rails G controller shirts. Make a controller for that. I'm going to go to the routes, say resources, shirts. And right now, I only want the index. Easy. And then over in the shirts controller, I make an index. And I'm actually going to do the exact same thing. I'm not going to like try to connect to the database just yet. I'm just going to copy this shit over. What if I hard code some hash or some array in Ruby? Let's see, is that right? Yeah. And just try to send it back. If I do a render JSON, I do something like shirts is shirts. I should make that an instance variable. Okay, so if I send that back, should be all right. And while I'm at it, I need to turn on cores if I'm going to make a request from the front end. Okay, looking good there. Anytime you change something about how your app initializes, you need to restart it. Pro tip. That'll save you an hour one of these days. Oh, and I also need to install cores. That makes sense. Okay, so I turn that on, and then I bundle install. Now try running it. All right. If I did that right, I should be able to go to localhost 6000/shirts and see a bunch of shirts. I wonder if I can. Localhost 6000/shirts. Ooh, interesting. 6000 is illegal. All right, that's fine. Just pick a different number. 4000. Cool, I see some shirts. Huzzah! So if that means if I get those things back from my front end, I should be able to make them show up on the page. So if I do fetch localhost, what did I put down? 4000 shirts, and then I parse the response. And then I destructure the shirts out. And then at that
What
point,
are you doing there when you're destructuring that?
Great question. So that is equivalent to these two lines and the one above it are the exact same thing. It's a cool shortcut. You don't have to know how to do it. We'll do it in mod 3, but that's called destructuring out of a lambda. But since the only thing I want out of that response is the top level variable, I can pull it out when I'm passing it into the function. Hey! All right, so now I got that shirts variable. Hey, that's convenient. That's exactly what that is. So you're telling me I can blow out all this shit and my thing still works? Hey, it's still got a passing test. Another thing that I like to do around this point is, like, while it's green, let's make this code better. So we can take these fat arrow functions that we're doing and extract them out. We can do something like function display shirt, and it takes in a shirt and does just take all of that and put it in there. And now that for each just becomes display shirt. Does the app still work? The app still works. And then this fat arrow function here, that's like display shirts. So this one I got to do a little bit differently, but I can say something like that. I can even take out that response.json. So I can maybe make a parse JSON function that all it does is take in a response and return its parsed value. Hey, does the app still work? App still works. And then still have that lambda there. I don't like that. So I can say that that's something like, maybe we call this one like render shirts. And it's going to take in a response. It's going to destructure out shirts from whatever you pass into it, and then call display shirts with shirts. Now that can become render shirts. And check that shit out. I fetch from this URL, I parse the response, I render some shirts. It reads like a little story. And all these little one-liner functions, way easier to read and therefore way easier to debug than what we have before. Now the important thing is, does it still work? Hey, it still works. Cool, before I move on, questions?
Why do you have the paragraph tag color on another line?
Because I'm using string interpolation. If you notice those backticks there, that lets me do things like multi-line strings, and it also lets me pass in these JavaScript variables. But I split them up, so I mean, I guess for this, that's completely fine too. But if I have more than one line there, it needs to be broken up. So that's why I do it that way.
Gotcha.
Good question. What else? Okay, let's make our backend a little bit more real. So we can say Rails G model shirt. Cool. And if I go over the migration for that and say that it has a string called color, nice. Rails DB migrate, and it's so. If I go over the seeds and make 3 shirts, that should like make my test pass. We do shirt.create. Purple, brown. And destroy them all ahead of time. And I can run that seed. Rails DB seed. And now, instead of hard coding those in the controller, why don't I look them up? Shirts is shirt.all. I buy hard-coded shirts. And does my app still pass? It does. It's got my new colors too. Sick. I connected a front end to a back end. So next thing we were talking about is how would you filter? How would you do a search on this kind of thing? So any ideas? It's not very much code. That's your first hint. How would I implement a search on this?
Would it be like a type of filter?
Yep.
That's all I got.
Hey.
It would
What
be a filter inside a form.
Form, yes, but the filter is going to be inside the form. The filtering is going to happen on the back end.
Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well, we got the form part right. So I can say something like form and this is going to have an input with name of search term. And that's it. Okay, so, all right, I see a little search buddy there. I can give it a placeholder if I want to. Placeholder. Actually, why don't I just put that in there? Find a shirt. Okay, that's looking pretty good. It also needs like a search button. That's just the submit. Okay. So we got the form. What else do we need to do to the form? What do we need to do to the back end? Give me some ideas.
Well, the form is automatically a get method, right?
By default. Doesn't hurt to be explicit though.
Okay. But you would need to have an action. You would have to hook it up to the back end.
So I gotta have some kind of action, and then what else?
Method?
Method. What's the method?
Probably a get method?
That's kind of what I think too. Why get instead of post?
Because you're not creating something new, you're trying to find something that already exists.
Hey, I like the way you think. And shoot, since we have tests, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Spec. We can make a test for this too. Make something like searching shirts. And we can say something like, I'm going to say like if I search for B, it returns, or say it displays brown when searching for B. Okay, same thing. I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to get data test something like search, and then I'm going to enter brown, and then I'm going to, let's call that search input, and then I'm going to get data test search button and click it, and then there should only be one of those shirts, and it should have the text brown. All right, let's see if my test fails. Oop, didn't like something I did. Enter, type, that's what's called. So I say I'm going to type brown, and it's not going to be able to find this input. Awesome. Data test search input. Okay. Search input. Cool. Hey, look, it typed it. Now we can't find the button. All right, well, that's solvable. Okay, but now it's still got 3 of these things. Yowza. So now we go to the back end. What could I do to only get the shirt that matches brown instead of all of the shirts?
Select.
Yeah, we could use select. Or even better than that, even before that, what active record thing do we have?
Like dot notation.
Mm.
I'm gonna
Where?
see minutes right now.
Oh, I heard it.
Where?
Where will let us find a match. So we could do something like maybe if params search, actually I think that comes in as a symbol. Maybe do a search.where, and I could make this something like color is params search. Ooh, interesting. Que interessante. Somebody explain to me how this works.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher this. So the param search is coming from the name in the input of the form. And then it's setting up a conditional so that it's looking for whatever you searched. And if it finds it, it only returns that one. And if it doesn't find it, it returns all the shirts.
Ooh, you're real close. That was like 80% right. What's the other 20%? Anyone? It's not whether or not we were able to find a match.
It's basically saying that if the params include search, then we're going to search for it, or else we're just going to return all the shirts at the index.
Correct. It has to do with what we asked for. That's the big difference there. All right. So that essentially means that if I search for that, it's going to give me everything. if I search for that, it'll give me, it goes to the other branch on there, right? Right. So how do I do that? Or do I just call it search? I think I just called it search. Maybe? Nope, it's called search term.
Wait, does that mean that in your controller you need to have search term rather than just search?
Good catch. Like the way you think. My syntax highlighter doesn't like that, so I don't either. I'm gonna make it underscore then. Okay, so I'll make it underscores there, and I'll make it underscores here and underscores there. All right, consistent all the way across. How do I get it to generate that line instead of just certs?
Does this have to do with the query params?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it does.
Can't tell you anything beyond that.
Uh-oh, well, someone's gonna have to because I don't remember the syntax for this. So help me out, look at your notes. I don't give a shit. Tell me how I get the query params out.
It's like new URL search params.
Okay,
Parentheses window.location.search.
okay,
And you have to put it in a variable.
okay. What should I call it?
Query params, maybe.
I like it.
And then you need to do like a new variable like const ID equals, or I guess we should probably call it something else.
I think so too. What should I call it?
Shirt color or search term.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Search term, and then what do I do?
Query params.get. Search underscore term.
There we go. All right, so if I have a search term, I'll get that. Otherwise, I'll get undefined or null or something like that. All right, now what? We're almost there.
You need to interpolate that search term into the fetch.
Talk me through it. That's it.
Fetch, and then parentheses backticks.
Ooh. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so they're in backticks. Now what?
Question mark, curly braces, search term.
Dollar sign.
Sorry, dollar sign.
And that's an important distinction because it's different in every language. So like in JavaScript, it's a dollar sign. In Ruby, it was a hash. Like there's no consistency around that. There's definitely ones where it's a question mark also. Okay. All right, so I interpolate the search term. Very nice. Uh-oh, wait a minute. If search term is undefined, that's going to say search term equals undefined. Yikes. I think that's still going to pass our if condition. So we're in the ballpark, but I need it to have like nothing if that search term isn't there. How can I do that?
Could you put like everything, including the question mark, in a variable?
Interesting. Interesting. Something like that. So yeah, pull that that query string into a variable. We could do something kind of like that. Talk me through this.
Maybe you have like a variable called, I don't know, like search URL or something.
Okay. Search URL. What goes in it?
So you like question mark search term equals in a string, I guess. And then question $ curly braces search term.
Okay. Now what? So like if I do that, that gets me that far. I don't know if that actually helps. You got the right idea though. Any other ideas? I have a couple. So I could do something like let URL equal just the part of it that's going to be in everything. And I could do something like if there's a search term, then URL equals, and then do that interpolation. And just all the rest of this. Skank to there. And then I could do something like that. Nothing too wild there. That let gives me hives though. I don't like lets if I can get away with it. So the way that I would actually do this is probably using something you've probably run across. You've definitely done this in Ruby before. You might not have realized that this is also in Dribble-Script, but do a ternary. Search term. Do something like that. That one's probably going to be easier for you to remember though. All right, moment of truth though, does it work? Let's see what the test says. Oop. Aha, kinda, I just wrote the test wrong. If I go back over here, brown shouldn't be the entire text. Really, we're looking for something that contains brown. Green test. It's alive. So to prove it, if we go back over to our running app, okay, can it find red? Why, yes, it can. Can it find brown? Yep. Was there a green? There was not a green. Or purple. It does it. You know, I think there's also an active record method for like partial matches if you wanted to like search P or something like that. We could also just use select. We can get all of the things and then select for things that like regex match or something. Lots of different ways we can handle that. But to review, we didn't even need to put an action in, actually. Really, strictly speaking, since the default method is get, we could have left that off also. But really, this is just reloading the page. So we have a search term. We grab the query string out because when we submit this form, it's going to reload the page and take a look at that URL. It adds the query string to it. That's what a get form submission does. Is it takes your names and values of your inputs and just turns them into query strings. So we did that. We ripped out the query params. If there was a query param, we added it as a search term to our API URL. And then otherwise, everything's exactly the same. On the back end, if that search term exists, we just run a different active record query. Fucking sick, yo. All right, let's take a look at the chat. Yes, I am, Lydia. Cool, ask me some questions.
Okay, I came in a little late, but so I guess I just kind of want to make sure what you're doing with the get form. You put it on like the index page.
Correct.
Okay, and then the input just gets turned into a search term for
This name.
Okay.
When you do a get form, when you submit it, that name, that becomes the query param, one of the query params keys, and whatever the value of that input currently is becomes the value of that query string. We could do a ton of these though. You could do a full form and it's just going to transform all the names and values to query params.
So the name is the value, or the name is the key.
Exactly. So check this out. If I hard code the value in here and I go lavender, the input is going to be pre-populated with that. And so then whatever I'm typing in there just changes that value.
Okay. So by saying name equals search term, the like key for the query parameter will be search term and the value will be what you, okay.
Exactly.
Can you go over why you don't need to put the back end into the action of that form?
Oh, sure. Because when I submit this form, it's not triggering a request to the back end. What it's doing is making an HTTP request to the same page that I'm on. Technically, it's the root of the app, but it'll have the query params in it. So when this JavaScript loads the second time, it'll find that query param and change the URL. So if we were gonna like sequence diagram this, the index.html page loads, all these things show up on the screen. There's no query string. That script tag gets requested, or the script does. The script comes back. We go, all right, I got the shirts. I got the query params. I got the search term query param. Well, it doesn't exist, so it's undefined. All right. So I set this API URL. So I set this API URL, and it goes, if there's a search term, well, there's not, it's undefined. Okay. So then I just get the base URL that gives me back every shirt, rock on. And then I go, just gonna type in this form. I'm gonna type brown. and then I hit enter. It's going to redirect the browser, in this case, to the exact same page, except now we're going to have search term equals brown in the query string. So all the same things happen. This page loads up, this script, we request the script, it starts running the script again, gets that shirts element, gets the query params, gets the search term, except this time the search term is brown, it exists. So it makes this API URL, it says, oh cool, brown does exist, let me add this to the URL. And now we're requesting something completely different from the back end. Well, not completely. We're requesting something slightly different from the back end. And so it ends up rendering something different. Oops, this would be. Still work? Yep. Still have a errant URL. There it is. Green.
I have a styling question for you.
Hit me.
You don't have a CSS, or you haven't touched the CSS file. How do you have your font as like a not just like the default font?
That's absolutely a default font.
Really?
Yep. Mine might look different from yours because, well, this is Firefox, but this isn't. This is Chrome. But nope, that is a regular old system font. I'm on a different operating system than you probably, so that might have something to do with it also. But nope, that is plain Jane.
Got it. Yours looks so much better than mine.
It's because Linux is the best. What else? Katie, what's on your mind? You look like you got something to ask.
Wow, you're calling me out. Oh. Well, I was having a lot of issues kind of hooking up like multiple JavaScript and HTML, like, I can't talk now. Multiple index, like the show JS and show HTML, like having multiple of those and having separate pages that come off the index. I was having a real hard time hooking those up.
Cool, let's do it. So this might be something like, write a test for it first. So I'm going to describe getting one shirt. So this is going to be, it navigates to the purple shirt page when the purple shirt is clicked. So we'll know that this works when we go to the main page and we get the one where the shirt color equals purple. And then we're going to find the anchor tag inside of it and click it. And then we're going to sci.url contains, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to get like data test show page. And maybe you want to get data test, actually, fuck that. Just say shirt color. And it should contain purple. All right, let's see that test fail. Cool, didn't work. All right, so over here, when we're displaying these shirts, these need to look a little bit different now. Now, these need to be anchors. So I can put this anchor in here, and I can give it an href of maybe that shirt's ID, shirt slash. Or, oh, that's right. We're in mod 2. We're doing this as query strings. So it's going to be shirts.html ID equals shirt ID. All right. I'm going to pause there. Questions about anything I just did in that line? So even just that, I should see those show up as links now. And if you look at the URL, if we look at the URL down at the bottom, this is going to navigate to /shirts.html, the query string ID3. Nice. That's what we're looking for. So that means, I'll call it shirt.html. Cool. So that means I need a shirt.html file. Easy enough. I'm going to make shirt.html. And while I'm at it, I'm going to make a shirt.js file also. Let's clear all that out. All right, I'm going to copy most of my index HTML. Take out the search. And this one is going to be, let's see, what's the test here? Data test shirt color. Oh, and that's going to be dynamic, so we need to generate that dynamically. That's fine. Give this a class of shirt. And then this is going to end up going in here. Just like we did with that first one, though. Let's see if we can hard code this and just get it to pass. Cool. Does the test pass? It doesn't look like it actually did the navigation. Let's check. Oh, I see why. So in that index.js, in addition to the href for that, we need the test hook for that to grab onto. We'll say data test shirt color equals, we can hard code that one right now too. And that's on the anchor. Let's put that there and that there. Oop. Oh, it's because, God, it's putting on every single one of them now. Annoying. Hang on. Shirt.color. All right, how you like me now, thing? All right, cool. Went to the page. Okay, data test shirt color should be purple. Within the element P. Ah, it's because should be lowercase p. All right, I got green tests. So now I just need to make that real. Let's take a look at what I did again. Nothing different here. Really, the only thing that's different is in this display shirt thing. I changed that to an anchor. I'm going to this shirt.html page that I just made, and I'm passing that ID in the query string. All right? And then over in the shirt.html, so far, all I did was hard code this p tag. All right, let's see if I can keep this working. If I go to shirt.js, I don't know, can I do that dynamically? If I get the shirt, cool. Can I just add that paragraph tag to the shirt? Maybe. Do something like shirt.inner HTML is like that. All right, so it is no longer hard-coded. Does the test still pass? Oop, it doesn't. Can anybody tell me why? I have a hint, I have a hunch that this is related to the origin of this question as well. What in here is going to prevent that from working?
It's not linked to shirt.js.
Correct. It's got to be a different file.
I can't.
Now, when I run that, I'm still green. Okay, cool. Now I just have to make this real. So I could do something like, how about I get those QPs out? It's going to kind of work the same way. Get the query params, and I get the ID out. All right, so I have the ID. I need to fetch something that will give me that. So I can say fetch from port 4000 shirts slash ID. So that actually give me shirt slash 3, search slash 50, shirt slash 5 million, whatever the ID is. And then I'm going to borrow my parse JSON response. Okay. And then I want to display the shirt. So first thing I can do is just hard code it. Same thing I'm doing right now. Does the test still pass? Test still passes. Okay. Now I just need this to actually return this shit back. What's the next thing that I have to do? Somebody tell me.
Create an oh no, you already did that. You need to append it.
Ooh, not quite. Has to do with this.
Sorry, what was the question, Kyle?
Question is, what do I got to do next?
To get the shirts to show up,
Yeah, to get a shirt to show up.
like shirt dot name or right,
This
like
is even
the
before
JSON
that.
is returning a single shirt, right?
Not right now, it's not. Right now, it's not returning shit.
Then
Yeah, I think this is exactly my problem. So
Okay. Does this route exist in Rails?
guess not.
No. What is that route?
is it
Show.
It's a show route. So I got to tell it to turn on show routes. Then I got to go over to that shirts controller and make a show route. So shirt is going to be shirt dot find params ID. And send it on back. That doesn't look like this. Oops, we got too many of these. Cool, now I got a show route. Now that'll do something. I take the shirt out of that. Okay, so what do I do inside of this now?
Interpolate the
That's
data
it.
you want.
Exactly. Shirt.color. Shirt.color. So, moment of truth. Does the test still pass? I see fields of green, red roses too. And then over here, hey, I got a brown page. And if I go to the root, I got a purple page and I got a red page. Showing, baby. Cool. What else?
So Kyle?
What?
So Kyle, just curious. So like say theoretically on your index page, you'd also have the ability to like look for pants. Maybe you could click on different types of pants.
Okay.
Would it be set up the same exact way and you could have everything on the index page?
Correct.
I have no idea what's happening with my code.
So, like a thing that's just like shirts, but not necessarily related to it.
Exactly. Like I'm pulling two different types of data from the same server, but
Cool.
the reason
No
it's
problem.
undefined.
So let's do that. So showing shirts. We'll add one for showing pants. It lists 2 pants. So if I go to the page, data test pants, there should be 2 LIs in there. Easy enough. Is it passing already? Doesn't look like it. Expected 2, got 0. Looking for data test pants LI, never found it. Story of my life. Put pants here, call that pants, call that pants, pants, pants. Cool. All right, very nice. So now data test pants exists. What's your problem now? There's no LIs. All right, so we fetch the API URL, parse the JSON, render the shirts. Well, now that we got two of them, this is going to be like shirts API URL. Okay, so that all looks fine. But I also have a pants API URL now. And if I fetch the pants API URL, and this one's shirts API URL, same thing, gonna parse the response, and then render pants. So render pants, that was awfully similar. So this takes in pants, displays pants. Okay. And then display pants. Ooh, this is kind of interesting. Take a look at what I'm doing in, well, actually, I take back whatever I was just about to say. That's a mod 3 question. There's a way that we could remove some of this repetition, but it's not useful right now. All right, so this is display pants. All right, and then display shirt does that. Display pant does that. Works the same there, same there. This one's going to be pants, append li. This one is going to be pant.style. Data test pant style. And it's going to go to pant.html, pant ID, pant style. Cool. Did I grab pants already? No, I didn't. All right. Let's go to the back end. Let's make a pants controller. Rails generate controller pants. Okay. And let's go over to our router. And we're going to start by just listing them all. And over in pants controller, same shit as before. We'll just hard code them for right now. Makes it easier to debug. It's going to have an ID of 1 and a style of khaki. This is going to be jeans. And then we're just going to send that on back. Render JSON parts. Pants is pants. This is definitely one of these things where like all of these words have stopped meaning anything to me. It's like shirt. That's a funny combination of letters. All right, so all right, still undefined there. Let's see what might be happening. Okay, so I've got these pants, data test pants. They should have LIs, cool, and there should be 2 of them. Nice. Good. So I'm going to /pants. I parse the response. I render pants. Render pants is display pants. For every one of those pants, I display them. It's display pant. That's why. Okay. How you like me now, thing? Oops, still not working. At this point, let's take a look at my errors. Ah, perfect, 404. 404s are the best because they're just the easiest to diagnose. Okay, it was expecting localhost 4000 pants to exist and didn't. Why not? We need to restart that server. Try again. Still can't find it. Feels like it should. All right, if you see it, shout it out. But it actually looks okay to me. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. Anybody know what my next step should be for debugging this? If I think a route should exist, but Rails disagrees with me, how can I figure out what Rails thinks I have? I'll give you a hint. It starts with this.
C, controller.
Ooh, not quite.
Routes.
Well, I heard it.
Routes.
Routes. So if I do Rails routes, what routes do I have? Get/pants. Ooh, interesting. This might be part of it. Something's broken the code. That still shouldn't 404. That's a get request to 4000/pants. All right, let's hop over here. Shirts, that's still working? That's still working. Pants. The action index could not be found for pants controller. Well, that's descriptive. Hey, what do you know? I'm just typing random shit in the middle of the class. Okay, now how you like me, test. All right, we got green test for those first ones. I broke shirt though. That's interesting. I have an unexpected open paren on that single shirt page. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, those match up, those match up. Unexpected token. Was it possibly from my test itself? Getting one shirt. So I skipped that test. Okay, good. If I skip that part of the test, still works. Oop, that's where it breaks. When I navigate to that page, all right? Kind of curious what happens if I do that in the app. Just throw the DevTools open. if I go to a page, interesting. Cannot get, oh, because those don't exist. Missing formal parameter, line 10. Oh, it's because these have too many. There we go. All right, how you like me now, Tess? I see fields of green. All right, and how about back over here on our, so our listing pants works. What's it look like? Hey, I got both my pants showing up. Katie's happy. Cool. What other questions have you? Can you show the index method for shirt? If you requested the index with a query param, look up shirts this way. If you didn't, look them up this way.
So in your if where you say param search term, that's just that's just evaluating whether or not it got a search term at all.
Correct.
Okay.
If there's anything there,
For a
then
param.
try to look it up. Kind of an interesting thing about Rails, I've actually come to like this quite a bit. There are a few different ways you can send data to the back end. And like when you do a create, for example, that's coming in through, through the HTTP body with a type of form request, a bunch of other shit. Here, we're sending it through a query params. There's like other ways we could do it too. Rails calls all of those params. That makes it easier in like almost every circumstance to get these up, because you don't have to say, oh, I want to look at this in the query params. That's not what you have to do in most other frameworks. Yeah, Rails just uses params for all of it. What else? Any other topics you want to talk about? Talk about HTTP stuff, talk about styling, talk about whatever, your time. Can you show the index method syntax error? Index method for shirt. So there it is. What's your syntax error, Yulia? While you're putting that in there, Katie asks, what if the pants and shirts are related somehow and you wanted to display the attributes for a shirt on a pants page? What a good question. So we'll do that with includes. Let's give that a go. Yeah, Yulia, if you're still getting that syntax error, you can just paste it in and we can get that figured out as well. So so I need a pants page for that. Actually, let's do that the other way around. Actually, let me look at Yulia's real quick. Yulia, I'm guessing it's because you have a space after heroin between that and the colon. No space. That's my guess. All right. If I go to the individual shirt page, I want to list all the pants that go with that shirt. So that would be something like, let's clear up these files.
Yes, 596570.
Okay, so inside here, shirt.js, in addition to showing that, I want to take any pants that came in with this shirt and show all those. So first, let's just get the pants related and like logging. Okay, and then this is coming back from the shirts show route. So if I do shirt controller, okay, so if I want the pants to be included here, they need to have some kind of relationship. Easy enough. So I'm going to make a new migration that adds a, so if we're saying one shirt has many pants, this would be something like Rails generate migration, add, which direction did it go? Add pants to shirt. So to add pants to shirt, that means that there's going to be a shirt ID in pants. Add shirt reference to pants. Okay, made a migration for me. So in this migration, so we're going to make a change method. And we're not creating a table this time, we're adding a column. And so let's look up the syntax for that. Rails add column. Made the migration. See, that's the Stack Overflow one. All right, add column. So this is add column, and it takes 3 arguments. First one's the table we're adding it to. Second one is the name of the column. Third one's the data type. So this is going to be add column, and we're adding it to pants. This one is a shirt ID, and it's an integer. Cool. So if I Rails DB migrate, yep, somebody didn't like. No such table pants. I got your pants right here. I kind of don't believe that. So I'm gonna hop into the database. I go to SQLite development DB, and I do a dot schema. Oh shit, they're right. I never actually made a pants table. It's still hard coded. So I actually don't need this at all. I still got this pants migration. Or no, I never even made the migration for it. That's cool. Or a model. Rails, G model, pants, pant. Yeah. Migration, create pants. All right, that's easy. So this is going to be a string called style, and it's going to have a references. Is it reference or references? Let's forget. Let's see if it's on this page.
It's references. Oh, it says when you do Rails G resource.
That's if we're adding one. Rails active record reference. Well, that's when you're querying.
It's references.
All right. All right, so references, this is for pants.
Sure.
Shirt, references shirt, and then foreign key true. Okay, so we got our shirt reference. Now we also need to add that where
The model.
in the model. So the pant model is going to belongs to shirt, and then the shirt model is going to has many pants. All right, so we've got a relationship established. Last thing, we go over to seeds, pant dot destroy all, and then pant dot create. Style is jeans, and style is suit. Why not? Okay, so now I can run these these migrations. Cool. I can run this seed, sickness, and I'm going to include the pants here. How do I do that? How do I get all these shirts pants?
Include colon pants. But
Right.
in the seeds, you didn't reference.
I didn't actually reference any. Good call. So this was for shirt. Cool. So save these as variables. Okay, and then a pant belongs to a shirt. We say this one belongs to red, and this one belongs to purple. Or fuck it, we'll say they both belong to red so we can actually have some to loop through. All right, so these belong to red. And if I run those seeds again. All right. So now, by running that include on pants, if I try to get, if I do the show route for the red, whatever the red shirt is now, I should be able to see all those. Okay, so it's ID 7. Holy shit. There's the related pants. And if it doesn't have a relationship, like on 8, it's an empty array.
I have a question, Kyle.
Yeah.
If you were like, if you wanted to do this differently in the show, could you also say like at pants equals pant.all, and then in your JSON have like pant : at pants?
Yeah, in that case, you're showing all the pants. That would be a way to do that.
I guess I was thinking about it. I can't think specifically, but there was something in the code challenge, like with the index, that I was trying to think of, and I don't know. Maybe I'm on the wrong track, but I was like trying to have the shirts and the pants, but I like powers and heroin.
So yeah, if you were doing something like I got every power and I got every heroin, and then for each heroin, I like find the matching power. You're just recreating what this is giving you for free.
Hey, Kyle.
Yep.
So what if on the back end, it has like, you can see that they are both like related to each other and joined, but it's not showing up on your front end? Is there something I'm missing?
Take the
there?
front end out of the equation. Do exactly what I just did here. You can still hit those API endpoints with Postman or a browser or something like that. If you're not seeing them here, well, the front end isn't going to make them magically appear.
Sorry, I mean, I see them there. Like I can look at Postman and it's there, but then when I like click on, you know, to look at like a specific item, it doesn't list those additional, like the joined. I hope that makes sense.
So in that case, like, don't worry about the UI for it. Is the fetch getting them? So like we're trying to do this one step at a time so we see where this breaks. So in our case, we go to the shirt.js thing. We want to see that, all right, this is the shirt. So this is the thing that's happening when I get a particular shirt, I parse the response. I could even do this earlier than this, probably should, but I render it, but like none of this is actually doing anything. I'm just passing the response down. So at the first opportunity, I want to see what I actually got back before I even try to do anything with it. So I go over here, I'm going to the red shirt, undefined, gasp. That's a good thing to know. So why undefined? Probably has something to do with this. So if I don't destructure this, what do I get back? Ooh, interesting. I see why. Anybody tell me why that didn't work? What's that error telling me?
You destroyed all your shirts and your seeds.
Yeah. I'm still looking at the same page though, so the IDs don't match up. All right, easy enough. All right, I'm gonna re-destructure this. Okay, so then if I go to the red shirt page, hey, cool. So I see the color, I see that. Oh, and I see this array of pants. Okay, so once I've gotten that far, now I feel confident that I can do something with it. In fact, I can like specifically say, what is shirt.pants? Well, it's an array of what looks an awful lot like pants. So this is where this gets a little bit trickier though. Because if I'm trying to, if I put this in here, all right, well, that's pretty easy. The challenge though, how do I loop through something? I can't really do that quite so easily inside of the string interpolation. Check this shit out. So, actually, I'm gonna show you the easy way, and then I'm gonna show you the like kind of cool hacky way. The easier way to do this would be to make something like pants. It's a document dot create element UL, and then I'm going to loop through all those pants. So let's see, I'll call this, no, I'm not gonna save them first. All right, so I'll do shirt.pants for each pant. I am going to make an LI. This is the worst part about going back and forth between JavaScript and Ruby is like scoping the variables. All right, so I'm gonna make a new LI. Cool. And I am going to set the LI's text content to pant.style. And then I'm gonna append LI to pants. If this hadn't occurred to you yet, it doesn't need to be in the DOM already for us to append something. I just made this UL. It's not anywhere on the page yet, but I can still like kind of build it as I'm going. All right, so all those are added to this pants UL. And now I could do something like shirt.append pants. That's the easy way to do it. The wild way to do it would be like, I put these pants in here, like this. And like you've done document.querySelector before, you may have not realized you can do that on any element. It doesn't have to be the entire document, and it doesn't have to be on the page yet. Ends up working the same way though. And then this becomes like whatever that thing would be. But if you want something that's like easier to remember, it's probably this way. Make a UL, add everything to the URL, just add it to whatever element you already have. And if we do that, ta-da, showing up on the page. What else? What can I answer for you? All right. Hopefully this stuff's starting to click a little bit more. And like, if not, tomorrow's a whole new day. Lots of opportunities to learn, formulate some good questions, and we'll hit the books again tomorrow. See you guys at Stand Down.